Ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourselves. What you're about to uncover is a story tangled in the annals of time, a mystery buried beneath centuries of intrigue and secrecy. Imagine standing in the shadow of Europe's first emperor, the great Charlemagne himself. Except, what if I told you there's a lost relic tied to this very man? A relic laden with powers so grand and so dangerous that entire kingdoms once fought in whispers over it. Yes, you heard me right. Something crucial to Europe's most charismatic ruler, and perhaps to its history itself, appears to have vanished before anyone could fully grasp its potential. But before we dive into the depths of this thrilling enigma, let's journey back to the year 814. Charlemagne, the architect of what we would come to know as the Holy Roman Empire, lay cold upon his deathbed. His kingdom, sprawling and unprecedented, had become one of Europe's most powerful entities. But even the greatest of mortals must succumb to time, and thus he left behind not only his empire, but a vast collection of treasures. Among this legacy, there was whispered tale of a casket, a small, unassuming box, but one that Charlemagne himself valued above all other possessions. This was no ordinary box for jewels or gold. No, this casket was said to contain secrets, symbols, documents, and possibly even objects of advanced knowledge far ahead of its era. Others claimed a connection far more divine. Some said it carried fragments of ancient religious artifacts, a piece of the true cross, the cup of Christ from the Last Supper, or so they believed. But the casket, a potential treasure trove of untold information, disappeared within decades of the emperor's death. And since that moment, history has danced around its whereabouts, leaving us tantalizing fragments of its legend. Over the centuries, theories and conspiracies erupted like wildfire, each more astonishing than the last. Some say it was stolen and spirited away for private gain. Others suggest it was transferred to a shadowy order, a secretive group working behind the scenes in Europe's darkest corners. And still, a few religious minds whisper that the casket was hidden deliberately to protect the powerful artifacts it contained from falling into the wrong hands. Now, you may think these are just fantastical legends conjured up to impress an audience, but consider this. During excavations of Aachen Cathedral, yes, the Aachen, Charlemagne's sacred resting place, and once the heart of his empire, researchers unearthed coded inscriptions etched into stone. These codes, when deciphered in the early 20th century, suggested instructions, like a map, detailing the location of something important, something buried or hidden. Yet no treasure has ever been definitively uncovered. What could these cryptic carvings be referring to, if not the fabled casket? But let's rewind. Why was this box, small enough to be carried by hand, given such overwhelming importance even over generations following Charlemagne's death? Well, here's where it gets intense. In 1000 CE, roughly 200 years later, Emperor Otto III made an astonishing pilgrimage to Aachen, ostensibly to pay respects to his great predecessor. But witness accounts reveal something peculiar. Otto didn't just stop at veneration. He ordered an opening of Charlemagne's tomb itself. Imagine that. By law and tradition, a king's tomb was sacred ground, not something to be disturbed lightly. And when Otto emerged from the crypt, something clearly agitated him. The official records for his pilgrimage went suspiciously silent afterward, almost as though some unknown discovery had made him, and perhaps his advisors, recoil in secrecy and fear. Cryptic correspondence from Otto's court implies that he had removed something. Some say it was the casket itself, whisked away to Otto's native lands. Then, fast forward some years to 1122. A document surfaces from the lands of Burgundy, speaking of a sacred item so valuable that a clandestine bidding war between noble houses was underway. Coincidence? Or was Charlemagne's famed casket yet again at the heart of Europe's hidden power struggles? But perhaps the most intriguing twist in this saga occurs in our own modern era. In 1940, during the peak of World War II, Nazi officers were dispatched to Aachen, supposedly under direct orders from Heinrich Himmler himself. Himmler was infamously obsessed with secret relics, particularly those tied to the history and mysticism of the Holy Roman Empire. Some historians argue the mission wasn't just about looting art or cultural marvels. Could Himmler have been hunting for Charlemagne's lost casket, hoping to find ancient knowledge or symbols of divine power to aid the Nazi regime? And here's the kicker. There's a peculiar file in German archives from the 1940s labeled Special Retrieval, Aachen. Its contents? Classified. To this day, no one has fully revealed what the Nazis found in the cathedral chambers. Did they find the casket only to hide it once more in bunkers through war-torn Europe? Or did they extract something else entirely that's been hidden from the public eye? We are left with only questions. But why Charlemagne, you may wonder? What could make his casket so uniquely significant in the grand scope of history? Think about it. This man was no ordinary conqueror. Charlemagne was a visionary, stitching fractured kingdoms into an empire built not just on force, but on education, law, diplomacy, and even the revival of Roman traditions. Some historical texts credit him as a keeper of forbidden knowledge passed down from antiquity, ideas from ancient Greece and Rome that could accelerate human progress. If any fraction of this knowledge were hidden in that casket, retrieved or misplaced, can you imagine how its revelation today might alter our understanding of everything? Medicine, mathematics, astronomy, perhaps even tools of governance we've yet to comprehend. Now, as we stand centuries removed, tantalizing pieces of the puzzle resurface but leave us with no definitive answers. What became of Charlemagne's casket? Was it real or a masterstroke of legend? Could it be locked away in some deep vault, in private collections, or hidden in plain sight among artifacts we haven't looked close enough at? Or was it an empty vessel all along, a piece of misdirection by the emperor himself to keep larger secrets obscured? The truth? It lingers like a ghost in the shadows of our past. But whatever lies behind this ancient curtain, it points to one possibility: that history is never quite what it seems. And with everything we uncover, we rather find more questions than answers. So, what do you believe awaits in the silence around Charlemagne's fabled casket? Is it a trail worth following? A secret we still haven't unlocked? Or is it an echo from history meant to teach us something far more profound? One thing is certain. The casket, whether artifact or idea, remains a reminder of how much of our history is both known and unknowable.